Welcome to Fun Facts Online. Imagine a city with millions of residents, packed into tiny apartments and crowded streets, where everyone is constantly touching, sharing food, and working in close quarters. In our world, a single cough in a city like that could spark a devastating plague. Yet, in this city, catastrophic epidemics are almost unheard of. This isn't some futuristic human utopia I am describing. This is the everyday reality inside an ant colony. These bustling metropolises, teeming with life, should be a tinderbox for disease. But they're not. So how do these tiny creatures, living in what seems like the worst possible conditions for public health, manage to keep pestilence at bay? The answer is a concept called social immunity. It's not about the immune system of one ant, but the coordinated, colony-level defense system of all of them, working together as a single superorganism. Long before humanity ever thought about lockdowns or social distancing, ants were masters of epidemiology. Let's delve into the genius of insect social distancing. The first line of defense in any battle is knowing your enemy. For ants, this starts with detecting an invisible threat before it can get a foothold. And their primary tool is an absolutely incredible sense of smell. Ants live in a chemical world, communicating with a complex language of pheromones. They use this chemical language to spot disease. They can literally smell the volatile organic compounds produced by dangerous fungi and will actively avoid surfaces contaminated with them. Their sense of smell is so refined that in laboratory studies, scientists have successfully trained ants of the species Formica fusca to detect human cancer cells. The ants could learn to associate the specific scent of cancerous cells with a sugar water reward and could then reliably distinguish between cancerous and healthy cell samples. This is the same principle used to train sniffer dogs, highlighting just how powerful their olfactory sense is. But it's not just the pathogens themselves that ants can detect. Infected individuals also give off chemical sickness cues that broadcast to their nestmates that something is wrong. In a fascinating twist, it's also about the absence of a signal. Researchers discovered that live ants constantly emit, do not discard chemical signals. Think of it as a proof-of-life chemical. These chemicals, like dolichodial and iridomyrmecin, dissipate very quickly after death. So it's not a smell of death that alerts the colony, but the fading smell of life. When that signal is gone, the undertaker ants know it's time to get to work. Beyond chemicals, ants are also attuned to behavioral giveaways. Just like we might notice a friend is unwell by their posture or sluggishness, ants can recognize when a nestmate is lethargic, moving slowly, or just acting abnormally. Once a threat is detected, the entire colony can shift its social organization to mitigate the risk. This isn't a chaotic panic, it's a coordinated, multi-pronged response. And this is where things get truly amazing. One of the most remarkable strategies is what scientists call architectural immunity. This involves actively modifying the physical structure of their nest to create barriers that slow disease spread. When black garden ants are exposed to a pathogen, they literally start renovating their home for better social distancing. They dig nests faster and create more tunnels, increasing the space between individuals. Most importantly, they increase the spacing between nest entrances and strategically relocate the colony's most valuable assets, the queen, her brood, and the food stores, to less central, more protected chambers deep within the nest. These structural changes effectively compartmentalize the nest, creating distinct zones and reducing the pathways for a pathogen to travel. It's the insect equivalent of closing off certain wings of a hospital or creating quarantine zones in a city. Simulations have confirmed that these redesigned nests lead to a significantly lower fungal load and fewer lethal infections. This is the first evidence of any non-human animal actively altering its environment specifically to defend against infection. But even without an active threat, ant society is already built for defense. Colonies are organized into subgroups based on age and task. Younger ants, often called nurses, stay in the core of the nest. Their job is to tend to the queen and the brood, the colony's future. Older workers, on the other hand, become foragers. They take on the more dangerous tasks of leaving the nest to find food and defend the territory. This division of labor creates a natural social barrier. The foragers are the ones most likely to encounter pathogens in the outside world. Because they have limited interaction with the nurses and the queen, the risk of them bringing a deadly germ into the heart of the colony is drastically reduced. This system effectively places the most expendable members of the colony in the most high-risk positions, shielding the reproductively vital individuals. When a pathogen is introduced, this compartmentalization becomes even stronger. The social cliques among the ants become more rigid, and contact between the nurses and foragers is reduced even further. The foragers will even start spending more time outside the nest, proactively distancing themselves from the central hub. But perhaps the most striking example of ant social distancing is the behavior of the infected individuals themselves. When an ant knows it's sick, it often makes the ultimate sacrifice. In a stunning display of altruism, it will self-isolate to protect its kin. Infected garden ants have been observed voluntarily spending more time away from the colony. As the disease progresses and they approach death, some ants will leave the nest entirely, moving as far away as they can to die in isolation. This ensures their body, which will soon be teeming with infectious spores, is nowhere near their healthy family members. This self-sacrifice is a powerful testament to the superorganismal nature of the ant colony, where the survival of the collective is more important than the life of any single individual. Beyond distancing and isolation, ant colonies employ a range of hygienic behaviors that are a crucial part of their social immunity. Ants are meticulous groomers. They frequently clean themselves, but more importantly, they clean each other in a process called allo-grooming. This isn't just about being tidy. It's a vital defense mechanism. Allo-grooming is highly effective at physically removing pathogen spores from the bodies of contaminated nestmates. As they groom, they also apply their own antimicrobial secretions. Some ants produce formic acid, a potent antimicrobial agent, which they use to sanitize themselves and others. It's like a social shower that includes a dose of disinfectant. This sanitary care is dynamic. Ants increase their grooming efforts when they sense a higher pathogen load, and they will preferentially groom the most infectious individuals first. It's a highly efficient, targeted system for reducing the overall disease pressure on the colony. But sometimes, grooming isn't enough. If a pathogen manages to infect the vulnerable brood, some ant species resort to a more drastic measure known as destructive disinfection. As we mentioned, ants can detect when a pupa has been fatally infected with a fungus, even before it becomes contagious. When this happens, they engage in a brutal but effective multi-step process. They tear open the pupa's protective cocoon, use their mandibles to perforate its cuticle, and then inject their own antimicrobial poison, often formic acid, directly into the pupa's body. This kills both the developing ant and the fungus within it, preventing the pathogen from ever producing infectious spores. It's a form of social immunity that sacrifices an individual to stop an epidemic in its tracks, much like our own immune system destroys infected cells to save the body. In a similar vein, the queens of the black garden ant practice a form of hygienic cannibalism. When a founding queen detects that her first batch of larvae are infected, she will eat them before they become contagious. This not only removes the source of infection, but it also allows her to recycle the nutrients from the larvae to produce more eggs. She can do this without getting sick herself, likely by neutralizing the pathogen with her own venom. Of course, no society this clean would be complete without good waste management. Ant colonies create designated trash heaps, or middens, where they deposit dead colony members, food scraps, and other waste. These refuse piles are typically located far from the main living quarters to prevent contamination. Specialized undertaker ants are responsible for this crucial task, promptly removing any potential sources of disease. Some ants even engage in collective medication. Wood ants, for example, will seek out and collect antimicrobial tree resins and incorporate them into their nest material to help protect the entire colony from pathogens. They'll even mix their own formic acid with the resin to create an even more potent antifungal concoction. It's important to note that these strategies aren't exclusive to ants. Many social insects have evolved similar behaviors. Termites are known for their nest hygiene and will even fumigate their nests with naphthalene, a chemical with antimicrobial properties. Honeybees perform a hygienic behavior where they aggressively remove sick or dead individuals from the hive. But there's a fascinating trade-off at play here. Research on 11 different insect species found that eusocial insects, those with complex social structures like ants and bees, generally had a weaker individual immune response than their solitary, non-social relatives. And within the social species, those with larger colonies had the weakest immune systems of all. This is called the relaxed selection hypothesis. It suggests that as social immunity mechanisms like hygiene and distancing become more effective, the evolutionary pressure for each individual to maintain a super strong internal immune system is reduced. The group's behavior takes over the job. The different layers of immunity have evolved to be complementary. An ant's individual immune system might be great at fighting off opportunistic bacteria, but it's the colony's social defenses that are truly effective against the highly contagious fungi that threaten to wipe everyone out. The sophisticated public health strategies of ant societies offer more than just a fascinating glimpse into the natural world. They provide powerful model systems for understanding disease transmission and mitigation. The principles of compartmentalization, protecting the vulnerable, proactive social distancing, and adaptive hygiene are all strategies employed during human pandemics. The way ants reorganize their social networks to shield the queen and brood is a natural experiment in protecting the most vulnerable members of a population. Their architectural immunity is a testament to the power of environmental design in public health. The world of ants is a stunning example of the power of collective action. Faced with the constant threat of disease, they have evolved a complex multi-layered system of social immunity that operates at the level of the superorganism. From the architectural brilliance of their self-modifying nests to the altruistic self-sacrifice of infected individuals, ants have developed a public health system that is the envy of the natural world. Their strategies are a profound demonstration of the fundamental principles of epidemiology, played out on a miniature scale over millions of years of evolution. So the next time you see an ant, remember you're not just looking at an insect, you're looking at a tiny, brilliant public health expert, part of a collective that has mastered the art of survival. Thanks for listening to Fun Facts Online.